The airport was roaring with life, yet she stood completely alone. Flights were boarding, announcements echoed from every direction, suitcases rolled past her feet, and people rushed by with eyes fixed on screens and clocks. In the middle of all that noise, the deaf woman felt a silence deeper than anything she had ever known. Her heart raced as panic tightened her chest, because she couldn't hear the calls, couldn't understand the hurried voices, and couldn't even ask for help in a way most people would notice. She was lost in one of the busiest airports in the United States, and no one seemed to see her fear. Before the story goes any further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and small acts that change lives, please take a moment to like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to the channel for more real heart-touching stories like this one. Her name was Emily Carter, a quiet Christian woman in her early 30s, traveling alone for the first time in years. Emily had lost her hearing as a teenager after a severe illness, and since then, airports had always terrified her. She prepared obsessively before trips, memorizing maps, gates, and backup plans. But that day, everything went wrong. Her connecting flight had been changed at the last minute due to bad weather, and the gate she carefully wrote down no longer existed. The screens kept updating, people kept moving, and Emily felt her careful planning crumble in seconds. She clutched her bag tightly, trying to read lips, but masks and fast-moving mouths made it impossible. Each failed attempt to ask for help made her feel smaller. Some people smiled politely and walked away. Others pointed vaguely, assuming she understood spoken directions. A few didn't notice her at all. Emily's chest burned with embarrassment and fear, and tears blurred her vision as she wondered if coming alone had been a mistake. She prayed silently, asking God for guidance, even though doubt whispered that she had been forgotten in this sea of strangers. Not far away, Michael Thompson, a single father in his late 30s, stood holding 2 coffees and a boarding pass. Life had not been gentle with him. After losing his wife to illness 5 years earlier, Michael had learned to survive on faith, exhaustion, and love for his daughter. He worked long hours as a delivery driver and rarely traveled, but this trip mattered. He and his 10-year-old daughter, Grace Thompson, were flying to visit Michael's parents for the first time since his wife's passing. It was supposed to be a fresh start, a reminder that family still existed beyond grief. Grace was different in a beautiful way. She had learned American Sign Language at church after befriending a deaf classmate years earlier. What began as curiosity turned into compassion, and soon signing became second nature to her. Michael often worried that the world might be too harsh for her gentle heart, but he also believed God had planted something special in his daughter. As they waited near their gate, Grace noticed Emily standing alone, her body stiff, eyes darting around, hands trembling. Something about the woman's fear felt familiar to her, as if she recognized a quiet cry others ignored. While Michael checked his phone, Grace tugged at his sleeve, her eyes fixed on Emily. Michael followed her gaze and shrugged, unsure what she saw, but Grace was already moving. Emily felt a presence before she saw it. A small shadow appeared in front of her, and when she looked down, she saw a young girl with kind eyes and a calm smile. The girl raised her hands and began to sign slowly, carefully, asking if Emily needed help. For a moment, Emily froze in disbelief. Then relief crashed over her like a wave. Her shoulders shook as tears spilled freely, not from fear anymore, but from gratitude. Someone finally saw her. Grace listened with her eyes and hands as Emily explained she was lost and couldn't find her new gate. Grace nodded with confidence far beyond her years and gently gestured for Emily to follow her. Michael hurried over, confused at first, then stunned as he realized what his daughter was doing. He watched as Grace became a bridge between silence and understanding, her small hands carrying compassion where words could not. They walked together through the crowded terminal, Grace occasionally glancing back to reassure Emily, signing explanations about the screens and signs. Emily followed closely, her fear slowly loosening its grip. She felt something she hadn't felt all day: safety. People passed them without noticing the miracle unfolding in plain sight. But to Emily, it felt cinematic, as if God had stepped into the chaos through the hands of a child. Michael observed quietly, his heart heavy and full at the same time. He remembered nights when he questioned whether he was doing enough as a father, whether his broken family could still raise something whole. Watching Grace guide a stranger through confusion with patience and love felt like an answer to prayers he hadn't spoken aloud. He felt proud, humbled, and deeply moved. When they reached the correct gate, Emily realized it was only a few minutes before boarding. Relief washed over her again, stronger than before. She signed her thanks to Grace with trembling hands, expressing how close she had been to giving up. Grace responded with a gentle smile and signed that God always sends help, even when we don't expect it. Emily's eyes filled once more, her faith renewed in a way sermons never had. As Emily boarded her flight safely, she kept looking back, memorizing Grace's face, knowing this moment would stay with her forever. She sat in her seat, heart still racing, but now it was filled with warmth. She thought about how close she had been to panic, to missing her flight, to feeling utterly alone. Instead, she felt seen, guided, and reminded that kindness still lived in unexpected places. Michael and Grace returned to their gate, but something between them had changed. Michael knelt beside his daughter and held her tightly, overwhelmed by emotion. He realized that while he thought he was teaching Grace how to survive in a difficult world, she was teaching him how to live in it with faith and courage. Grace leaned into him, unaware of how deeply her actions had healed him. The rest of the flight passed quietly, but the impact of that encounter echoed far beyond the airport. Emily would later volunteer to help improve accessibility awareness in her church community. Michael would become more involved in Grace's signing classes, encouraging her gift instead of worrying about it. Grace would grow up remembering the day she learned that even small hands can carry enormous love. If this story is touching your heart right now, please take a moment to comment below and let us know what part moved you the most. Your words matter, and they help keep stories like this alive. As the plane carrying Emily lifted into the sky, she closed her eyes and whispered a prayer of thanks, not just for finding her gate, but for being reminded that God's grace often arrives quietly, through children, through strangers, through moments the world rushes past. She no longer felt lost. She felt guided, and somewhere in the clouds, above all the noise and confusion of the world, that simple act of kindness continued to ripple outward, proving that even in the busiest places, love still finds a way to be heard. Before you leave, please comment the word kindness if you believe small acts can change lives. And if this story touched your heart, inspired you, or reminded you to see those who feel invisible, please like, share, and subscribe. Your engagement helps spread messages of hope, compassion, and faith to others who may need them today.